Do your
Oh gosh. Oh Rastafari.
wake up, Billies. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that we feel happen under God blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that we feel happen under God blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Billies, wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up.
Hey, good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for today, Tuesday, the 8th of December. And wherever you are, we hope that your morning is getting off to a beautiful start as we bring you Belize's premier morning conversation on this Tuesday morning. We want to welcome everybody to our house. We want to welcome our listeners. We want to welcome our folks who are watching us and those who are listening to us, those who are online, those getting us via simulcast coverage, and definitely to everybody getting us via our apps. A pleasant good morning and a warm welcome. We hope that your health is great. We definitely hope your vibrations are positive, your energy is high, and that you have space to be a part of our conversation. After we've completed the preliminaries, however, because we've got to serve that up to you. And of course, our preliminaries includes a quick look at the latest available weather information. That's the general weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service. We've got the morning news update. Of course, that is prepped by Krem's News Center. With all of that said, though, we're going to lift off at this point in time. We've got the weather update for you, and according to the National Met Service, fair and cool conditions will prevail. The 24-hour forecast is for variably cloudy with little or no rainfall. Looking at marine conditions, Winds will be northerly to northwesterly at 10 to 20 knots with gusty spells. Sea state will be moderate to rough with waves at about 4 to 7 feet in height. Looking at temperatures along the coast, high today of 76 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of 66 degrees Fahrenheit or 19 degrees Celsius. Inland is going to be a high of 61 degrees Fahrenheit. A high of 76 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius with overnight lows of 61 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 degrees Celsius. A small craft caution is in effect and a flood warning remains in effect for communities downstream along the Belize River. And the outlook calls for mainly free and cool weather to prevail Wednesday. Then periods of light rain will occur mostly along the north and the coast on Wednesday night. And that is your general weather forecast this morning, Belize. We now present to you a morning news update. 15 days ago, on November 23rd, Prime Minister John Busenya received results confirming he was COVID 19 positive. Yesterday, he came out of self isolation in his bedroom at home and was back at Charter House in Belize City, where he gave the media an interview. He remained asymptomatic throughout his self isolation and therefore was declared free to return to work.
I just like almost on impulse, I decided to go check because I had no symptoms. And then I was found I was positive, and then I just like almost on impulse, I decided to go check because I had no symptoms. And then I was found I was positive, and then I was on self quarantine for 2 weeks. I stayed in my bedroom, and then and follow all the strict protocols. I must tell you that my family, they insisted that I have to follow the protocols. On Friday, a doctor from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Quay, went to do two things: to give me the PCR test and also to clinically examine me. As I said, I had no symptoms. I had no fever, no headache, no pains, no diarrhea, nothing, no loss of smell or taste. So she then took the PCR test and then examined me. And she then declared me, what do you call it right here, clinically recovered. And that I could have moved around from then, but I still stayed. My wife insisted, you're going to do your 14 days. So I stayed until Sunday. So today is the first time that I'm really out. And I'm here back to work. I must tell you that my PCR test came back and it is still positive. But when I'm talking to the doctors, and as we all know, the CDC and also in Europe, they are saying that once you pass the period where you can be that you are infectious, once you pass that period, then you can continue with your life. Initially, when they did not know, there were a lot of people are being kept back a whole month, 2 months, 3 months, because they still find the system, the virus in your system. The PCR will find it, but if I were to go and take a rapid test, quite likely it's going to come out negative. But I am free to move around. I'm not. I would not get anybody sick, and that's why I am now out working. But it's also important to remember wear your mask at all times.
Busenya believes he got the virus from someone at work at a Charter House. Supreme Court Justice Westman James yesterday ruled in favor of former chairman of the Police Association, Eldon Arzu, against the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, in one issue in Claim 106 of 2019. It is in relation to the question of whether a statutory instrument signed by the Compol on January 9th, 2019 could have retroactive effect. The SI limited the tenure of any one person serving as president to 2 terms. The action was filed in March 2019 by Arzu. Arzu, who had served since 2012 as president after winning consecutive elections, had just been re-elected in January of 2019, but citing the SI, the commissioner refused to accept the results of the poll. Here's Arzu's attorney Nazira Miles on the ruling.
His ruling is that the statutory instrument 1 of 2019, which was passed on the 9th of January 2019, is prospective in its effect, means as from that date into the future. So any chairman from that date moving forward can only serve for 2 years, meaning that it would not have applied to the past chairmanship of my client, Mr. Arzu. Therefore, at the point in time when the Compol is alleging that my client was disqualified from being the chairman in the year 2019, it was unlawful for him to restrict my client from acting as the chairman, as that would commence his 1 of 2 years, which he could serve as chairman from January 9th, 2019.
According to Miles, the judge also made other directives on how the parties will move forward with the trial of other issues which concern the claim. The trial takes place on February 24th and 25th of 21 when witnesses will be cross-examined. The Belize Police Department is looking into reports of employers abetting the violation of quarantine regulations by forcing and or allowing employees who are suspect cases for COVID-19 to return to work while sick. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams sounded a warning to such violators.
We have been receiving a number of complaints from employees who are aware of other employees who have tested positive for COVID-19, and the employer, on the other hand, is refusing to have these employees who have tested positive go home to isolate. These employees are still being told to come to work despite the fact that they are COVID positive. Secondly, we also got complaints that there are some where the employees have gone to do the tests and are awaiting results. And again, employers are telling them that they need to be at work pending the results. Now, it is the law that once it is that you have tested positive for COVID-19, that you need to isolate yourself from others. It is also the law that once you have been swabbed and are awaiting result, that you are to be in quarantine pending your results. And we would anticipate that any responsible employer would want to ensure that an employee who is infected or who is potentially infected would not be at work to further infect other employees or to put other employees at risk. I want to take away from what I saw Dr. Musa had said, where he said that it must be our personal and individual responsibility to ensure that we protect not only ourselves, but those around us, and more so the vulnerable, in order for us to curb this COVID-19 pandemic in Belize. And so I want to call upon employers to ensure that they abide by the law. It is a pity there is nothing in law to hold the employers accountable when they refuse to send employees to go on either quarantine or isolate. But I'm going to speak to the Minister of Health, and hopefully whenever another regulation is passed, that they will take that into consideration, that we can make it a offense for an employer who refuses to have an employee either quarantine or isolate themselves once they have undergone the swabbing or have tested positive for COVID-19.
However, an employee, once he or she attends to work during this time, he or she is in breach of the quarantine regulation.
Yes, I'm here, and he or she is in breach indeed, but it would be cynical of us to prosecute that employee, because at the end of the day, the employee is left between a rock and a hard place. Either you quarantine and lose your job, or you come to work. So what do you expect the employee is going to do? And so because of that, we have not made any arrests in terms of arresting an employee who is being forced by an employer to go to work despite the employee COVID-19 situation.
On Wednesday last, Corporal number 542 David Jimenez became the second officer to die from SARS-CoV-2 virus. He was taken by ambulance to the hospital after he began experiencing respiratory problems around 6:30 a.m. However, a little over 2 hours later, he had still not been admitted and died in the ambulance. Commissioner Williams is now calling for priority treatment for police officers once it is suspected they are infected.
The Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth, the Belize Police Department, do offer our sincere condolence to the family of Corporal Corporal Jimenez. Yes, and it is indeed an unfortunate situation where the police officer began experiencing breathing problems sometime around 6 a.m. Birth were called in. They responded quickly, ferried the officer to the KHMH, and upon arrival there, he was refused access to the KHMH where he could have received treatment. Now, we're not going to say that had he received the treatment or some treatment from KHMH, he would have survived. But the fact of the matter is that he died outside in the ambulance, and that ought not to have occurred. From what I was briefed by Mr. Stain from Bert, who responded, was that they waited outside for over 3 hours, and despite their continued requests for the officer to go in to receive treatment, he was denied. The Bert personnel tried their utmost best to try to give the officer oxygen and to keep him alive, but that failed, and the officer subsequently died. And so I have talked with the Minister of Health, and again, it is something that the KHMH administration need to look into, because hospital authorities do have an obligation by law to ensure that they treat patients who comes to them, irrespective of the situation. So we need to see how better can be done, because not just because it's a police, but anybody who goes to the hospital, it is expected that the hospital is going to provide them with the treatment that they need with a view to see how we can survive. Police officers are frontline people. We're out there every day doing our job. We're meeting sometimes hundreds of persons per day, and we're pretty much exposed to the virus. And so it is the least you can do is to ensure that whenever we're infected and we go to the hospital to seek attention, that we're given the level of attention that we deserve as frontline officers. And that is all we ask of the health institutions.
And that ends our morning news update here inside the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We will take ourselves a break, and then we return to get the conversation started inside the main event. Stick around. And to the folks who are seeing us on Facebook and YouTube and all of that, respect is due. As you know, once we go to break, we still stay on these respective mediums, and so you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes, get the vibes. It's great. In a short while, we should get we believe that we will have our brother with us, brother David Almendaris. We will have our phone line open for you guys. It's going to be at 672-4770, so you guys can get in. It's been a very It's been a very choppy to moderate morning technically so far. You know, the host and technician at the same time, and a lot of different lead things to this operating. Um, it's a platform for stream, so if so sometimes you hear me they say, "Oh shucks," because I do so abstract or the other, and it you develop muscle memory after a couple of shows, but we've not been doing this, and we try new things, we try to get really fancy and all of that, and then that becomes a problem because you make mistakes when you try new things, but it's also how you learn. And so we want you to just be a little bit tolerant of us if some glitches take place. It's a part of this whole thing, right? Part of the thing. Try learn new tricks as an old dog, going against the laws that we hear. But yeah, we have to try. We have to try these things. Uh, so we have to check in with David to see where he is. Hopefully he's ready up and ready to go. So bear with me with when I do a little bit of that right now. Big up to all the people and where they put comments. Let me see. Morning, Donna Caetano, morning, Sonia Allen. Respect the rest, D Nice, Perfect. Respect Derek all the time. You're there. Original serious business. Um, Let me see here what Mr. David is up to. All right, man say 5 minutes here and up on the spot. All right, well, we'll wait for that, brother. We're about to get back on. Take on a little bit of water, yeah, people. Respect, oh boy. Respect to Candice Longsworth. Shout way up. And again, when you put your comments, I'm able to see them, you know. Whether it is on Facebook or YouTube, I'm able to see them. So there's a way for you to put your comments, and it's good. We like you when you say good morning and everything. Right now, we're about to go back on the show, and if you don't have any contribution for make, we are able to look at it and get it on. Especially when David is here, I got more flexibility because you know he like the mic, so he can give me some only intermission. Anyway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. On this Tuesday morning, it's the 8th of December. We have completed the preliminaries, which means that we can get down to the business of the conversation. We want to get you on board. We love when you talk. We prefer when you talk. This is what the platform is about. So we encourage you to jump in and express your point of view, your thoughts, your concerns. Unfortunately, because we are broadcasting remotely at this point in time, we are unable to access your calls via our studio lines. We regret that because we know, one, it's cheaper, and two, it's greater access. But right now, until we go back into studios, we only can access your phone calls on the cell phone that we have here, and that number is 6724770. I repeat, 6724770. And as I was telling the folks who are getting our stream direct, who are getting our stream on Facebook and on YouTube, and so when we go to break on TV and radio, they are still with us. So I was talking to them, telling them that they can also put their comments, and when we get an opportunity, we are able to delve into that and, you know, put them in as well. So you don't only have to there on the phone, you can actually write a line and do your thing. We have our first call of the morning, so let's hit that. Oh my, all right. You call me back. I think I might have I pressed the cancel button again. The number is 6724770. Yes, Almendares, I hear you. you're there to wait, and we want to get you on as well. Make we forward on this Tuesday morning. So you can't say we don't get encouraged for jump in. Okay, let's try this phone again. WB, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yesterday I tuned in. I'm lucky I come in a bit early. So WB morning vibes we play, no?
Yes, sir.
You're getting me there, Mood? I
Yes.
see you're the high. You're the high building. High building.
That just want him. That my photo man. Where they come with now, man? So where they-
No, you look steep. Yeah, man, with yourself and brother Dave, my friend, man. Get to the point, my friend.
Yeah, get to the
Yeah.
point. The man not there with you yet.
My brother. Yeah, when you made mention about intelligence, brain power, and common sense, then I'm telling you call it some steep information there. Man, I tell myself within nation state beliefs, brother Moses, we have peoples that is allowed to officially imply enjoy water there, brother Moses, to officially imply or infer their acquired knowledge, country beliefs could become conditionally or would have become conditionally better. You see? We don't use our own to build, you know. We don't use we own to build. We prefer use from elsewhere and continue that dependency syndrome. You see, then they give with this, then they give with that. How much then they get? Man, I tell myself, the terms UDP and PUP to me, no, keeps halting the road towards nation building. To me. You see, why? Because those of political ascendancy or dominance or control, you see, the heavy influence in the country do not open the doors to those with the ability to act and accomplish, my friend. There are lots of us who would want to do good because we have the capability but not allowed. But Ganamos, because of your corona priority or the priority on corona, I myself, what I wish I could bring to public knowledge next time when we...
My concern and my priority on corona,
Our.
I try make sure that I understand you better.
Yeah, delete your or our. I use you because you is our on the show.
Oh. Be careful, Leon, Mr. Torres. Be careful, brother. Be careful. I try make sure I understand you, know, because if I know, I don't want to be suspicious that you're the try put one jab in my ribs.
No, not all, no. I'm not shadow box. No. I mean, yeah, like when you talk, we listen to like you, that we in that sense. I mean,
Interchangeable, no? All right.
Brother Moose. Take care, Brother Moose. All the best.
All right, Mr. Torres. Good.
Hello to Brother Dave when he comes in.
He did listen, sir. He did listen. Yeah, but he did listen. Yeah.
Okay, then. Thanks very much, my friend. Take care.
All right. Let me see if I can get this smoothly. Hold on, brother. Dave is here, and make us see if we can transition here to two hosts. Let us see how well that going. All right, so now I am there. Let me see where I can put my brother. Okay, he's not. I need to get him on in. Dave. Where are you? Are you hearing me, brother? Are you hearing me, sir? All right. So let me just try get Dave in here. And your mic is off, David. So I don't know. You could try to turn on your mic for me, cause could you, sir, turn on your
You
mic?
hear me?
I hear you now.
All right, microphone check.
All right.
I'll move now too.
Huh?
So I see I'll move on the screen too, on my screen. I'm not
You the
frozen.
you the pan. Yeah. But I don't got you. I don't got you up on the screen as yet. So go through on the stock, but I make I could, as I
With the
explained.
live?
Yeah. We got your
All
volume. I
right,
just not got you up on the screen as yet. I try
all right.
sort it out.
So
You know, as I don't
first
explain
of
to.
all,
Yeah.
make a get out with very good manners. I said good morning, everybody. Good morning, Belize. Good morning, Sing Friends. Good morning, my Hattieville crew, my United States crew, Facebook crew, this crew. It's always a pleasure for joining the conversation. I feel like family. Look forward to hang out with you this morning. Here had a good conversation. I know we got some sticky topics today because I had a caller who called me yesterday, had a very tragic incident. And I asked you to please call in today and describe it to yourself what happened. His mom passed away. And there were a series of events where I prefer when he called in, he tell you no. One good thing about this morning show that I always big up is the fact that this the open package and this the one thing when designed for you get heard in an avenue where we never normally get heard. This is how you get here. This is how you get your concerns out. This is something that bother you, if something you happy about, if something you need to deal with. This show make for that. So I tell them please call in, and so then call in, and I make you give the side of the story. So big up to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be behind the
How
screen.
you somebody may say that you're late because you're late because you're feed the tilapia there.
Right?
Um
Who got hype on me, man? Who got drone the fly around?
boy that people I don't know if that Facebook or YouTube that I then it says so then they said that you're gonna deal with tilapia or maybe people is spy pan you don't realize that.
Well, that,
Big up yourself, Kieran,
that,
walk large up yourself, my youth. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Our telephone number
yeah.
is 6724770. You know that we prefer that. We love when you call in, so do the thing. Yeah, David.
Yeah, no, the tilapia thing, no, the tilapia, man, I have to go to the reconnaissance thing now, calf, and the blackbird, no way. They
The
have
what?
black when you pull up at the farm, the blackbird pull up too. You have to blackbird pull up for sure. Blackbird, alligator, everybody pull up. That's how
All
you
right,
go.
but how the program go? Everything the move has.
But the program, I want to be honest with you. The program they hit on style right now in terms of we did like 60% of the way, but the last 40% requires some very key person for help with. We wait
Krem,
for a greenhouse.
I go take the call. Krem, good morning. WB.
Good morning, David. Morning, Billy. Yeah, let's run this phone real quick and then. No. Friday, one brother call in and talk about his position on his experience of Boeing and Boeing because Boeing and Boeing never want to mix it and drink half and half. And I'm like, I don't know that. And culturally, that believes something where Belizean people don't like can buy a whole crate or something and going to the company work for them. So I said, look at Carl Boeing and explain, whatever situation. So they said that they have the policy about 7 years now, and they make the policy from a position of improving their service because when people call and order the mixed soft drinks, they slow down the traffic behind it and people complain. That's what the people are saying. So the thought crossed my mind to run it by one of them. I heard David and Moses on the upstairs. So,
Mixed soft drink.
listen to this stuff. You can't stop, you can't afford a whole crate.
I mean,
So
you can't get half.
Not at Boeing and Boeing. They say we get it from the distributors, but not at the Boeing and Boeing compound. What part people go buy things, I mean that they make it. I really feel about this morning. I said, well, I don't know how much people that believe might, this minute bother them, but when you go there, you find out your complaint and then you go along. I don't know how serious of an issue this is for Belizean people, but the thought crossed my mind as a community organizer, that this could be a good teachable moment if Belizean people they want to learn and participate or not. So I say no. I say we must have taken a good food. Let's be clear on that. We know that. But whether I say it or not, Belizean people are still doing what they do. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
So I say, what if this is a teachable moment to Belizean people understand that the people have the power. Going make one decision because they feel that I made the best decision as a company. But then I'm gonna think about how you impact people's lives. Or maybe they did and they start getting at the retail different, right? And then it's even worse the energy. But I just thought if Belizean people say, you know what? This is an opportunity for make we feel what power feel like because capitalism about power and balance. How that structure go. That Belizean people say, you know what, boy, not going, we just want to use it as on dry road. For Christmas, they buy no soft drink, less than a break back half and half. And then
but they're not half and half. You're complaining about. You're complaining. That's not what you're complaining that you can't get half.
Right, you can't get mixed. That's what they call it.
No,
You can't get
I don't
mixed.
understand.
Yeah.
You
But I say something.
Uh-huh.
If you know the system, how it's set up, I buy soft drink a lot, so I know how the system set up. I don't drink soft drink personally, but I buy due to my nature and business. But if you want mixed soft drink, in the system set up that you go to the big Chinese shop, then they facilitate that. So you go anyone at the big Chinese shop or some of the big, I can't say local shop because they don't exist again almost. But any big Chinese shop, mix it for only 50 cents more.
Yeah, but before
I hear that, David.
So you get me mixed up. You get me mixed up because you get me mixed up, and I said that because me song to me like the initial complaint was that you can't go there and just get half quid.
Right, you can't go to Boeing and get it half quid. You could go to the retailers and get it. But
okay, so that two thing you can't get. You can't get half quid or mixed quid.
Right.
Okay. And so you want people say if
I want people to listen, Boeing, in this case, I just Boeing at the use because where the complaint come from. We the people buy your product, and if we not buy your product, you don't got no company. We want to go there and buy mixed soft drink. So for Christmas, if we consider our policy just for Christmas to teach you our lesson. We not buy no soft drink from Boeing because the soft drink landscape changed. There was a time when Boeing dominated the soft drink landscape. That's not the case. I believe some people got options. And I shared this with them communication person yesterday, and the person said, indeed, people have one choice to choose the part, they want to buy their soft drink or who they want to buy their soft drink from. So I say, if we collectively not Belizean,
that it costs less to buy it at the Boeing distributor, a distribution place, which I think is on Slaughterhouse Road there, as compared to buying it from one of the wholesale Chinese grocery places?
I had no idea until David said just now.
It costs less by cents.
It costs less by cents.
Yeah, maybe $1.
And try to figure out how it becomes consequential. Because if you know that they are not doing it, but there's no difference if you go to one of the retailers to get it, then it's not a big deal. You can still get where you get. And
you can get other options to go. But
it costs you more.
Like only 50-75 cents.
It costs you more.
When you buy from Boeing, it costs you like 75 cents a soft drink.
Mm-hmm.
And when you buy from the Chinaman wholesale, it costs like 90 cents.
All right. Well,
if you go buy at the shop, it costs $1 and above.
In principle, I have spoken many, many mornings that one of our greatest unused strengths and power is our purchasing power.
They say they have like a chicken shop, If you don't want to cause people attention, When you go to quality poultry, some of the things you can't buy, you have to go buy the local Chinaman shop. He sell it the way you want. The quality poultry, no, I deal it like that, like that. And other institutions have it like that, especially the wholesale here, as a design for wholesale, so the middleman can make at least something, so the next man down the street can make at least something. Can you pay a dollar for a soft drink now a shop and you know have it?
I understand.
When the-
Listen to me. I understand trying to make people exercise one of the greatest unused assets, and that
I don't
in
think they're looking
purchasing
at soft
power.
drink.
I don't know that I find this to be one excellent
First thing,
yeah, but maybe Yaya is right in saying that you use something where,
but I got vibes too. I feel fishy vibes though.
but
But I tell you,
no, I
taking the
think
real
what you want to do,
situation.
listen to me. When you want to develop a muscle, if somebody going to the gym, they can't start out immediately with the big heavy dumbbell. They will hurt themselves, and they're not going back. First of all, they can't even lift it, and there's a high risk of injury because the muscle has not been developed. So to build muscle, you want to start out initially with weights where you could manage, so you could develop form, because form is important, and then as the muscle develop, you could do heavier and heavier and heavier lifting. So I understand that principle, and I believe in developing our sense, that muscle memory about what our purchasing power does, and that many times our purchasing power can achieve a lot without us even having to say a word. We just say, you know what, we are not going to sponsor our own disrespect. We're not going to sponsor our own oppression. We're not going to sponsor our own pain. We're no longer going to do it, and we have to become conscious. Absolutely, I believe in that, and I can't quarrel with you for pick that one. It would not have been the one that I would have chosen. You know, that was me. I just because so I think not that important to be honest.
I agree. Trying to say, you know what, like right now they pitch the conversation, because I know I want to determine if this will be the one or not. That the people got the power. I have to pitch the conversation. And I said that's the open up conversation. People want to decide if this is one of them practice them purchasing power plan. It then do it, it then choose the pitch, and then it not come out with the results that we want. At least we learn something from the experience. So when we pitch the next purchasing power community action, when we start from a position with experience as opposed to no experience because we never practiced it before. So it might not be the soft drink one, but I definitely appreciate the how to frame the conversation, that this is our purchasing power conversation for Belizean people start to stay alert and say, listen, if we not bound a thing or not got no business, I don't care who or if we not bound a thing or not got no business. So this is our new day in Belize. Humble ourselves, start to have conversations with Belizean people in a respectful and dignified way, and know so that we have the power, because we not spend the money, so Belizean people start to pay attention to, and say, like, check this out more. I know usually go to shop to buy car, no, I ain't into the cooking business, I ain't into the buying farm, the people that they could live business, that's what I ain't into. 1 dozen egg, and I know some people say, I could buy one for like, yeah. 1 dozen egg costs $3.50. 1 crate of egg with 30 eggs costs $7.50. But most people really can't pay $7.50. They don't have it, then I buy maybe one egg. When you go to market, I got a market Saturday morning, that same crate of egg with 30 will cost $7.50 at the Chinese shop, cost $6.50 that the market. So I just said to Belizean people, it's a really hard time. A lot of people lose their job or they make less money and they get full pay on their job. That we start to look at ways. I mean, we might have to get like more one person. I live in our family compound. We might have to say, yo, you put $3.50 and I put $3.50 and that's $7 I could buy. But we have to start to think of as a community how we could stretch we money for getting more cars.
I think you go beyond that, and we have made this point again. It's like walking through our classics here, because um, we we have to have unconsciousness when we spend. Like, and I have said it, like and I've said this line many times, that we have to love who love we, and so you can't feel like you are one of the greatest freedoms we have, that the freedom to choose the power and spend your money, and that's a power. That's a power that, just like how we vote on who will represent us and who will manage our assets for us every 5 years, we determine with our purchasing power which businesses are going to make it and which businesses won't. And the pandemic demonstrated that to us very clearly. We had a case where a lot of people who normally would not come to the media to say, listen, we need people to come back, to be allowed to come out of their homes. The whole thing about the push against restrictions was driven by big corporations who realized, you know what, we need Belizeans to be free to come out and spend their money. Whether it is we manufacture alcohol, whether it is we have big supermarkets, whether it is we produce chicken, whether it is whatever it is we produce, the successes of all these things depend on us. And when we sit here sometimes and complain like, oh, that community does not treat us with respect, that community does not invest back in our community, they do not create opportunities for us, they do not help out our programs, you very rarely will find them look at community efforts and jump in and support. And then we say to ourselves, yeah, but we will continue to, almost as if though we purchase on autopilot, because we've been supporting this for so long. We continue just to purchase that, support that, without any kind of contemplation. At the very least, contemplate when you're going to spend your money. Am I spending this in a way that represents a respectful relationship? It's important that we have respect, because ultimately our collective purchasing power is going to make you successful wherever it is. And the thing about it is that you have far more low income, grassroots, poor people than you have rich people. So ultimately, even though individually we don't have as much say as the individually rich person, collectively we have far greater influence on where success is going to happen. Like the chairman would say to us, that Cremandala would not be Cremandala if it were not for the support of the grassroots working class people. We would not be here. If it were not for the people who took out that dollar when it was 50 cents or whatever, and they purchased a mandala every Friday, we would not be here. So that consciousness of where your power is critical, and developing a sense of always connecting that to your own community development and your own respect, I think is very important, Sister Yaya. I have argued for a while that, with the issue that we discussed yesterday, about going across to Chetomal, I have all kind of arguments with corporate beliefs. I have a lot of problems with the way that they go about the quality of relationship that they have with us. I have a major problem. I have a major problem with the high level of involvement from our Chinese Belizean establishments in our neighborhoods, and the level of integrated support for the neighborhoods from which they make their success. I have a major problem with that. We've had that conversation even with some of their representatives. Listen, you all are, yes, nobody is saying that you put a gun to our heads to get your business. But that is not the mindset to have, because legitimately, if we were thinking in a way where we only spend where we are treated with respect, you would not get that business. It is the reason why, when we were not able to come out during the pandemic, your businesses suffer. Fried chicken was not being sold. Your restaurant suffered. In fact, your bakeries started to suffer because people were actually making more bread at home than they were buying bread in the stores. So you realize what happens to you when you don't have us. So you have to treat us with that respect. But somebody doesn't naturally going to give you respect if you don't first of all respect your own power. And you would find out that when you demonstrate that power, people are going to say, listen, there are certain things that are required of us. We have to do it. So I believe that it's a critical conversation to have, Sister Yaya, about how we wield our purchasing power. Because even though I have all the problems with these businesses and I have a lot of problems with corporate beliefs, I still look at us and the way we would go and spend money in Chetomal. And I say to myself, if we believe that we don't get enough from corporate beliefs, for sure we get zero from corporate Chetomal. For our schools cannot go and get donations from corporate Chetomal. And if you ever had a relationship with a school, you know that your schools depend on support that they get from the various companies when they have fundraising effort. Listen, it goes undocumented, but it happens. So we can't just say that it's zero because they do. In fact, some of them experience fatigue from the amount of requests they get from the various institutions. If you've been around a school, you know that that is standard. So I will not tell you that corporate beliefs does not give anything. They do. And when compared to Chetomal, oh my goodness, they are shining stars. So when we get up and we say, you know what, I will save $1 by going to Chetomal, we do have to have a sense. Is that a two-way relationship? Do we get back? So if we spend $1 with corporate beliefs, yes, then we could quarrel with them. We could cuss them out. We could hold them accountable because they're a part of our community. But when you go over and you support, it's not to say that there is something wrong. I mean, come on. Chetamal tacos, nice no backside. And there's a, when you get all in different kind of sauce when they give you. So I know I'm being a hypocrite and tell you that um I would have never go and enjoy one evening or one Saturday across the border. But I am saying we have to have a consciousness. When we spend, we might save one penny, but we deprive our very own community of $1. And we have to have that consciousness. You care we don't want seriously in here, Sister Yaya, but that's your tendency anyway. I think we've lost Sister Yaya.
Gone. I think Sister Yaya gone.
Sister Yaya, where you gone? Just left me to ramble. All right, I kind of rambled down a bit, but I think it's a critical thing. The season of consumption because the Christmas season is a serious propellant for purchasing, for consuming, whether you like it or not, whether you're on Grinch or not. And we have one call, so let's take the call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Good morning, Mo. This is Sandra Coy. Today is a monumental day in the history of this country. I don't know if you and David remember what day today is.
This is the day with the Guatemalan claim they're supposed to file their case in the ICJ.
They will present their memorial, and in that written memorial will be the claim that they are making to this country. And all the conversation we are having will be of no use and no value if at the end the ruling leaves us as stateless people. And the political directorate and the church leaders and all who supported going to the court can say anything they want. The truth remains that we gave a court that we don't know, we have never dealt with, people who have no connection to this land, the right to make decisions on our boundaries. That is what we did, and I don't think that our people have grasped that. They were prepared to take money, they were prepared to pay and be bought in a marketplace for a vote on whether they will own the country or not own a country. That is where we are. It's what time now? About 2:30 in Amsterdam in the afternoon. Amsterdam in Holland, where the Hague is. So I don't know if they have yet presented it. I don't know that they asked for any further postponement, so I'm assuming it will be presented today. And a couple things before I get off those that are concerning. Many things are concerning. For example, the Belizeans when they went to the polls, were they aware that there are two official languages at the court, French and English? But a party to a case may ask to present their data, their information in another language. If they present that material in another language, they will then have to have everything translated from that language into either English or French. Everything, right along the way, everything will have to be translated. Now, in our case, it's Guatemala. Guatemala speaks Spanish. And who will do the translation? The OAS? The OAS that translated wrongly the agreement that we signed to go to the court, because that agreement, the English doesn't match the Spanish at every point. A translation ought to match its corresponding version in the other language at every point. That doesn't. And that's a fact. I'm prepared to die on that. That's a fact. Are Belizeans aware that the very rules of court, the statute for this court, the law governing this court, the rules that this court makes are in English and French. And when you study the French and you study the English, there are places where they are not saying the same thing in each language. And that's at the level of the Hague. That's at the level of the Hague mode. The language part, right now, we are now 3 years, with 3 years into the case, because Guatemala asked for the extension, right? So they got 6 months at it all, and it seems we are getting an additional 6 months. Then we have another possibility of a counter reply, and then we will go to the oral presentation. And in between that rules, for example, on the matter of translation, if Guatemala presents evidence to the court that a section taken out of a book or a paper, just a section, they translate the section, they present it to the court. If the court decides that that section is not enough for them to understand what point Guatemala is making, they can request either a greater part of the book or the report or the paper be translated, or the entire book or the entire paper or the entire report or whatever it is be translated. So that means everything comes to a grinding halt until that gets translated. Were we aware of that when we went to the polls? I don't think so. I don't think the leaders were aware of that at all. And I don't know if they even cared. You see? In the same way they didn't care when they went to this election about where the money was coming from for the flags, the ads, the TV playing, the radio playing, the taxes, and the money they were paid for the vote. They were not concerned about that. So this is the day that we begin the march to either statehood or statelessness. Do you agree on that, Bones?
Yeah, it's a critical day. We are guilty as charged, as you have often portrayed. that we are not a multitasking culture. Uh, so there is no conversation again about the ICJ, and there's no conversation about what the implications for our economic calamity on our ability to finance a quality enough legal team. I don't know if we had gotten a final word on who or whether we have contracted a legal team, and no,
Whether we have what?
whether or not we have contracted a legal team that we have.
We have a 9-member team.
Okay, and we
3
don't.
senior lawyers, 3 junior lawyers, and 3 what I would classify as technical persons.
And we already and we
including
have
a
that money
geographer.
and we have that money for them already secured somewhere.
Right, that's my question. I don't know. As I said to somebody, immediately I heard that I put a $50 million tab on that. But that's that. That is where we are with that arrangement. The person, I don't know if he's leading the team, but the chap Benjamin Juratovich, the chap from the law firm that has done business with Belize, including at the CCJ, he is on the team. He's one of the senior counsels on the team. So Belizeans, today begins the day when we can become a Palestinian people, a Jewish people, a Gypsy people, a people without a land, without rights, without statehood, without nationality. It began on the day you all went to the polls. I didn't go. But I will suffer along with everybody else. But today begins the actual process now of the court and the deliberation.
Today
with the presentation of the memorial, and then we will have 1.5 years, I think, to prepare our response. And in between, and then there, as we go along, and every attempt will be made to keep the information from the people of this country.
is that I was just about to ask, will their presentation today be disclosed, or that is going to be confidential?
That is going to be the fascinating part of it. Because the rules of court govern the court. And what is very curious, Moses, is that when you go to Rule 53.1, when you read it in French and I read it in English, and something said to me, go to the French. So there is a curious non-equivalency. But Rule 53 has 2 parts, 1 and 2. Rule 1 says that the court, if the court is not in session, if the court is in session, then the court will decide. If the court is not in session, the president shall decide. To release documentation on the case to any state authorized to appear before the court. Never said parties, it said state. Now, the court has countries that have signed on to the state, to the court, as a court of giving it jurisdiction over its affairs that the court deals with. And then there are the countries that have not signed on to the court that must then enter into a special agreement to go before the court. So then the question is, will Mexico and Honduras be eligible to request the documentation on our case? You see, those are all the things that should have been answered. And by the way, that is not in the statute. That is in the rules of court. And it just occurred to me, I said, I was having trouble with a word. Well, in different parts of the rules. And I decided, let me go to the French. I'm fluent in French, right? So I went to the French and I thought, this isn't saying exactly what the English is saying. And why I did that was in languages you have one word more that even though the languages may have connections, the wording may like if I tell you on Monday, in Spanish, in English I will tell you on Monday. So the preposition on in English can be used in a time phrase, and in this case, a specific sort of time, which is a day. So I can say on the day. But I can't say that in Spanish. I can't say en el lunes. To convey that same idea in Spanish, I will have to say el lunes. Monday. I won't say on Monday. But when I translate it, I'm not going to say Monday I'm going to school. I will say on Monday I'm going to school. So it's those kinds of dangerous language waters we have now walked into. And I don't know, I had heard of a couple of the lawyers, the Guatemalans were proposing to deal with, but I don't know what is their final team. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, that's what I called in for, just to remind the Legions that the 8th of December 2020, we begin the march to either being a stateless people, a people with no land, a people with all the land we have, or a people with part of the land. I already know what it will be, but I will wait. Bye-bye, Mo.
Thank you, Ms. Koi. It's 7:36, and this time check is brought to you by Grace Kennedy, Belize Limited. Hello?
Hello? Is this the Wake Up UB?
Yes, you just need to bear with us a second. We're at a time check.
Okay.
Be about 10 seconds. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Musa, David Almendaris with you on this Tuesday morning, and we have a call in line. Krem, good morning. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Mose. Good morning, David.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead.
I just want to talk about a situation that happened to me Saturday at the hands of the police officers in Belmopan. So I normally take a routine visit every Saturday, and this Saturday I was coming back from Belmopan, and when we were in Cotton Tree, I noticed there was two police officers on the bus, a female and a male in the camouflage outfit, police uniform. So I noticed the female got a phone call, so she stopped the bus. She told us on the bus that the OC at Belmopan said that they're doing an investigation, so they stopped the bus. So I said, okay, maybe they found somebody with drugs or something like that. I don't know what to say, but I would have been the last person to think that they would have taken off that bus. So they took me and another female off the bus. They told us that an incident happened in Belmopan, and somebody was assisting the person and took the money. So I told the officer, the female officer, she asked the other female that she took off the bus to open her purse. She opened her purse, and then she asked me to open my purse. I opened my purse, and I told her, yes, I have money, but see, the money here is still with the Western Union receipt. So apparently she said the other female was a police officer in her. I don't know, she didn't show an ID or nothing like that. But she was asked to go back on the bus. So they kept me out the bus because I had money, so I became a suspect. All right. To make matters worse, okay, so we're going to Belmopan police station to clear this up. I got in the vehicle. They took me back to Belmopan. I was outraged. Yes, I'm human first. So I was outraged at why the only two people, I assume the reason why I was pulled off was because we were the only two black females on the bus. And the rest were males, both black and Hispanic, whatever. But we were the only two black females. So that was my first reason why I became a suspect. The second reason was because I had money in my purse. So that was narrowed down to me being the suspect. So I was taken back to Belmopan. They picked up two other police officers along the way. But instead of taking me to Belmopan police station, they decided to take me out back to Rowing Creek, going on their own mission to West Track. It was not until I demanded that they took me back to Belmopan so that can clear this up that they turned around the vehicle and took me to Belmopan. We got to Belmopan police station. I showed them the receipt again. See, the receipt was 2 days old. I had an amount of money. I already spent out some because it was a Christmas gift from my sister. I already spent out of the money. They didn't want to hear that. They said that I was not being, I was not being cooperative. So I was placed in a holding area. My money was taken away from me, and my possessions was turned over to my family member, the one who I just had recently visited. And I was placed there, presumably pending investigation for theft. No questions asked, nothing. And if I didn't open my mouth, I would have been there until the following day when the corporal came in at 4 o'clock to say whether I was guilty or not. I opened my mouth the night, I railed up, and it was the person in the command who said that he doesn't see a reason why I should be held here. So he used his best judgment, he and another inspector, to decide that I should go home, but he still kept my money. To make matters even worse, I went back yesterday to see how can I get back my money. I spoke to the OC in command, and he told me outright I was guilty. I was presumed guilty because I had the money on me. I told him, you took two people off the bus. So why was it that it wasn't two of us that was taken to the police station? You had no proof that that other person was a police officer. She showed no ID, nothing. But I was the only one who was taken to the police because I had money. I don't know. I feel like I was victimized all over. I can't even bring myself to go to a police station because I have lost all interest. I have lost all faith.
So you are saying to me that you did not get back your money?
Well, they had me return 4 o'clock yesterday because they were waiting for the officer who was in charge of the case, and they called him in. They had me there until about 5. They called him in, and they called me in and said they're going to return my money. So I assumed that they found out that I wasn't guilty or whatever, but I don't know. They knew that from Saturday night that I wasn't guilty. So why did they intentionally plan to hold me there for 24 hours? I had the receipt for my money and everything.
You mean wheel up now?
Yes, I was mad.
So you mean wheel up and listen to me. I ask you this just to establish that not because you are wheeling up have any should be used as any kind of justification for being unfair to you.
Exactly what the female inspector said the night when she released me. She said, not because this lady rail up, that means you know had to hold her hair. I think that Copper intentionally wanted to hold me there because of my mouth. He intentionally wanted me to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. And then to the
Try to teach you a
officer
lesson.
command
It's
yesterday
not
told me
correct.
that the money was the receipt was 2 days late, so that's not proof enough. Come on. So how could I spend that amount of money within 2 days? And two, the money that they presumptuously took from the person wasn't even the same amount I had on me. They didn't even took a camera, this photo, nothing. They didn't even properly check to see if I was the one who fit the description. Maybe he would have told them, oh, it was a black female. When I was at the bus terminal, 4 buses was there. They didn't even know which bus that person took. But because I was a black female and I had money on me, I became the first suspect. And even though I had proof, they held me there. And because I began to rail up, they held me there more. And I was ignored. It wasn't until I began to open my mouth that I brought some attention to the situation and I was sent home. If I didn't open my mouth, I would have been there until Sunday evening if the couple had chosen to say, okay, make her let she go.
It's if
So
that
for the
is
abuse of power,
if that is what happened, then 100. That's what I was about to say, David. If that ever happened, at a complete abuse of power, and power that one thing when everybody know how to deal with. Everybody understand how to have fairness and
we know the commissioner listen to it though.
yeah.
We know he listen to the show here daily. So we know we are getting feedback from he in a little while.
Yeah,
No, and the
that
thing
abuse.
is,
If that way gone on, because I have to start out with
I
that.
know,
I know
I
this.
understand there's 3 sides to a
I
story.
never did it.
But the
But
thing is
if
that
that way happen, if that a whole day when that how they carry out themselves, then that a made a straight abuse of power and
and you know,
unacceptable and
I had Mr. Henderson's number and I had him try to reach out to Chester. And he said that Chester never tried to reply to him at his text. Never ever. The only person who was on my side, that the 2 person who was in command that night. And if I hadn't opened my mouth, they wouldn't even have known I was at the back there in that holding area. Those were the only 2 people who used their discretion to send me home that night.
like I said, sister.
That's today.
Like I said, sister.
Showers.
For that, David. Repeat to your circle.
Thank God for them, cause thank God for the common sense prevail and they never get to spend that whole night that holding cell. And I know it may a bad situation, but if you spend an entire weekend, it may really be a dirty situation.
And
But we
then
need
if
to
I
have
didn't
some
go back
questions asked. But get
yesterday,
back your
they
money,
would have.
confirm it, get back your money.
Yeah, he say
I got back my
get back your
money. I
money.
got it back after I insisted that they gave me back my money because the OC was planning for me to wait until the investigation. I don't know what investigation. I was planning to do my own investigation because
Abuse
I
of power,
am
man.
not guilty. I'm a teacher for
Obviously.
at least 10 years. I have never thieved from somebody like that. And I told them that. But I was too outspoken, so I became a victim.
Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
Alright, respect, sister. Right now it is 7:48 where we and do the take a break, try not abuse with time like we have done for the past couple of mornings. At least got better balance, So we take a quick
Correct.
break and come back with more WB Wake Up Belize morning vibes for the people on take the break. And then to all the folks who they watch it on Facebook and watch it on YouTube, well, we are stay and leave
No
it.
break.
We might mute the audio or we might disappear. I know David like disappear. I want to eat one banana and I want to do it off screen. So So we are sort that out and yeah, we'll be right back. We are coming right back. I don't know. David, you want to stay here and reason with they leave it?
If
We
they
got,
reason with me, I don't see nobody reason with me.
you got a
I'll
lot
see
of
this one
comments there.
Allen
You
there.
got a lot of comments. You know, they see the
I
comments.
see this one Allen. Well, I don't go on Facebook. I don't pan strictly pan this
You.
medium. I say so Allen. I don't know who she, but very versatile. They pan all outlets.
All right.
And I
All right.
say,
Are you coming back?
all right, what do you think? I agree with Anderson. I said Anderson Rhymes that it's time for everyone to plant food in your yard, and if you have access to land and start plant it out. I agree with that, but I don't think the movement from the powers that be they push that. Then they power more a big people agenda. I agree with the food thing, though, especially with this pandemic, and if you notice what happened out Valley of Peace with all of the onions and the cabbage and all that thing will flood out. You need to start plant your own food. But give me at least a second where I run get some water, so my mouth no drop. I'll be right back.
Well, go on, birds.
I see my name, the pop up and kind of thing, improvement.
Yeah, I did try do all anything as they go along, no?
Maybe this weekend I wanna go get a green screen thing, just like with a green cloth and see how we hang that up.
Yeah.
I might take it off up and I like too. But I don't know how I get it.
I'll try drop it or something.
I put it in the house.
No, I got it, yeah.
I put it in the studio of the city.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Oh boy.
Yours truly, David Ananias, along with that disappearing moose. But I know I bring it back up shortly. That's right. Poppy just.
That's crazy, bro.
That's how you set up, man.
That's a crazy thing to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, we are coming to you. Our telephone line is 6724770. I know that so yeah, I'm gonna try reaching. We say
You get a
uh
fax, it send you you get an email from Sister Yaya.
no. Somebody
Said
said, I don't understand officers. Whenever anyone is placed in a holding cell, it must be logged into their diary so that the other officers coming on duty will know that there is someone here. And yeah. And then so yeah, that's the situation that's there.
I think if that true lady said, I mean, I have that abuse of power. If what she's saying is accurate, because she herself saying got three sides to her story. Her side, the police side, and the truth. But we have to know where to go. And I could understand somebody take me off my boss, and I know I'm commit a crime. I want to be just like she, very vocal, and maybe sometimes that rub the officer the wrong way. And maybe say one or two things, but then he have to be the adult and decipher. We want to solve this crime, punish this lady. Because we don't get nothing out to punish you, you know. You take an innocent person, you rile her up, and even give her an apology when you're done. That's picture of them, I get sued. That mean a lawsuit right there. Because I believe, and then people say, lady, she may talk, but she don't know if you're going back for your money. Well, the fact remains that they can back for your money over and over, tell me, you know, a Solomon kind of story, that she don't commit no crime, and that for she money. Okay, if she may commit a crime, she may have glad to left and to hell with that money there. And we have
Maybe I
to,
don't know.
we have to,
Maybe I don't know enough meek people in my life, but I know very few people where you want to take off and bust and accuse them of the money where they in their pocket, the
all
money
right,
where they in thief, and you know want real up.
all right.
Maybe the kind of
Suppose
people.
you Western Union receipt.
Maybe the
What
kind
will
of people.
happen? Suppose a husband get any money for go do any shopping now. I never got no Western Union receipt. Or you leave boyfriend, or you leave speakeasy, or whatever, get any something. Do you may condemn man for that?
Like I say, I want to assess how I go about choose friends, cause very few of them where I know. In fact, I'd say maybe you're not got a lot of people where you want to take off and bus and accuse them of the money where you in their pocket that not for them and that then thief it and then go and carry them in a police station. But while you carry them in the police
I want
station,
me know.
and while you carry them in the police station, decide you know what I don't want to go to the police station. I want to go we run a mission here
What's that?
upon
What's
this.
that? That
I don't know a
abuse
lot of
of power,
people now. I
Papa.
don't know a lot of people now open them out. I don't know a lot of people now object to that. So if that will happen, it's perfectly understandable why somebody are real up to that. No, that is not to say that we defend any bad language being used towards a police officer. You get that? But if she does me real up and me real up in defense of being wrongfully accused, it's if money has been stolen, that's a difficult thing unless you see it on camera, unless you have cameras that are placed and one bus terminal is supposed to have cameras. And unless you have videotape for sure who it is steal the money, how you going from a bus full of people and declare that, hey you, I gotta check your pocket because you behave like a black lady. So you have to be one out of one or two black lady, and well, one out of one of police, so it can't be you. And again, that doesn't disqualify you in my view, because people are all professions do wrongdoing. So you don't know. And that is the problem. You can't just arbitrarily randomly. Yes, you have to try pursue and figure out something, but you have to do it with
But
respect.
finally, this story I Western Union receipt, man.
So if
When
I
the bus, that
so
our 2
so
minute thing right there. If I pull you out of the bus and you find out Western Union receipt, you should have to tell that lady, sorry for your inconvenience, go back by your bus.
listen to
That,
me.
I mean, I never used to come in first.
No,
No, second, but and
but
tell you,
listen to me. You go beyond that. If if um if I got $100 for me, 420s, 210s. If I got $100 per me, generally I want to know how that whether that one hard blue, whether that 422 or and 210.
it broke down.
So if money has been stolen, first of all, for make you even get really suspicious of a person, they have to have the one rough equivalent of the denominations of where the person they claim he lose. So I don't know how much money we talk about here, and whether that just loan blue, and this lady had loan blue in her thing, so that is where it caused the whole situation. Again, we go up on the we make these points on the basis of the assumption, or just assuming that this story given to us was an accurate story. Then if it's how it happened, then how it was dealt with was wrong. And the rough thing to be wrongfully accused like that in front
Yeah.
of people,
And take
taking
off the
off a
bus.
bus.
I'm got more charge to me. I'm got a lot of charge.
Krem, good morning, WB.
Yes, my brother. Listen to this story right now about this lady. The lady needs to take out a lawsuit towards them people here because they had no right to do what they did. Yes, man.
All right, brother. You know sometimes you say to yourself though, the time where I take you for go through and process like that, that will make these things go undealt with, because people are say, well, man, here where they go on. I don't got the time to go through a whole liar legal case, because pursuing justice and holding people accountable is the right course of action, but don't you ever believe that it happens overnight. It don't happen overnight. And it will be, you do it, and you have to accept that you're going out of your way, forget your what you perceive to be the right verdict. You're going out your way. And so some people sometimes say, you know what, I don't really got that time there for share for just deal with that. And call it talk show, and I'm gonna make them know how I was dealt with, and that's about it. So some people make that decision. I agree with the brother that you have to sometimes consider that the way we are change the treatment, that will make people understand if you handle me wrong, you are paying a price for it. There will be some consequence. So that's
Or
it.
the police have to change protocols on how they hold people. Because before you hold somebody, you have to go through and 3-4 person. Make 3 person approve it, then you go down his house. It can't be that one man bandolero thing. I mean, there are simple inside protocols where could help prevent situations like that.
No, for me, I believe that the way I deal with it, I get them. When was it? Like sometime earlier this year, I had a traffic situation and a traffic violation. I was in the wrong, clearly in the wrong. And but in my view, I was to get a ticket. I mean, like it wasn't something like I knocked on anybody or something like that. So the guy just said, "Let's go to the station." Uh, the way I look upon it is that, well, you did on level of maturity repair. You say to yourself, listen, officers they don't operate on a level of stress already. I get that, and I don't know what the day has been like for this officer. The man one came in a raccoon, cool, let's go. I go in. and gone and just calm, operated, gone. The man said, "You're under arrest." And
What?
where I am, I'm like, all right. They came in the room. I sit down. It's okay. You do you. Because I don't understand that I don't add nothing to this. I don't add anything to this. When the time comes to deal with whatever process, and I want to reach out to who I need to reach out and deal with it. That no, if that officer had met somebody where done it on a level of energy already, that person would have been real up, and the way the system set up, wheeling up has consequences that the police station. It is
Anyway,
right. So, but then what happened? Other officers looked at the situation and said, yeah, you just, yeah, that cool. No, handle it that way. They huddled, they made a decision, and the matter was resolved. So, it shows, it shows that officers have discretion, and sometimes in the heat of a stressful day or a stressful moment, officers sometimes lose control or abuse their power, and it's very important for other officers to for have that better influence. Ultimately, even though that story where the system Giwi demonstrates the don'ts of policing, he also showed you that there were some officers who rose to the occasion and handled the matter well. You understand? So you just have to look at the both sides of the situation and look at it for what it is. Um,
yeah.
I think somebody on Facebook is saying you have the responsibility to tell somebody well why they are being arrested. I think she was being told why she was arrested. She was being taken in
They
because
broke it down for everything.
they suspected that she had stolen money. Um, we have a call. All right, we missed the call. Um,
I think we have installing protocol. I think far too many. I have had instances where I get to a checkpoint, my officer they flash my flashlight at the checkpoint in your face up the road, and I get to the man tell her, I don't think we do with the flashlight in our driver face. That common sense, you get a crash. For that statement there, we got through a 2.5 hours ordeal. The guy tell the man enough of the flashlight in our driver
but
face. That don't make no sense.
were you respectful in in telling
In
him
the
that?
beginning, when I give the flashlight message, I'm respectful. Is but when he start talk to me like, I mean, obviously, you know what I mean, and he start talk like, wow. I mean, since then I said they take out of the camouflage. I tell her that we need to go on you and get take out of camouflage uniform because you know they act correct. The man they ignore social. Then the social distancing thing, we just start. Ignore that, never got no mask all up in my face and all that. Me gone like totally haywire. One bigger policeman me there at the scene and he end up there crush that and say you get in your vehicle and go, and you get in your vehicle and go. But you know something? Like I said, the man is super stressed. We super stressed. I don't know if you're not super stressed, but I don't know a human being right now where except for a very few I think we could hide it good, but everybody concerned. And when you got two fuses, that explosion. So I think at a time like this, even me as I try to go nowhere most. Because I call it super stress, but I super stress in my house. Super stress in my zone. And I advise people to do the same. You see right now, the pandemic is real. We did our crit, we did a state point. We used to put the news. This man I get up and say, good God, watch out most when they start with this thing in February. I mean put up sanitation center, women the take you for you know. And watch over there to who could I be telling you an year ago where women are there right now. Now this nightmare every day, that like you wake up here and see a nightmare. We have to figure it out. But we have to grab control of this situation, yeah. Mass
Pananote there, I think it was yesterday I saw it. Yes, it was yesterday I saw it. I don't know if it was yesterday it was said by Fakuchi, the head of infectious
Doctor,
disease, Dr. Fakushi or Fakushi, I
yeah.
think.
No,
Is it
Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
Fauci?
Fauci. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what the dude's name. I just know
Fauci,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Fauci.
Fauci.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he made a statement that he said he believes that what we need to do now is to advocate that people wear their masks at home, and because he's saying, listen, we are not doing a good job of controlling what's going on in the households, and that ultimately it is where there's this big loophole. So he's saying, listen, if we were because he was making the point that they are reaping the sour fruits of the Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving is going to lead into Christmas. So where we are right now, we need to just say to people that we experience the very traumatic consequences of election season. And now we have, on top of election season, we have Christmas season. Now we completely blundered election season. We can ill afford to blunder Christmas season. Now, this message coming from me doesn't have you have to put an asterisk on it. I am a Grinch, and so I am very comfortable in being very controlled during Christmas because I don't really into all of it. But I recognize that a major part of our wiring, and also, like I met a brother at the vegetable and food stand yesterday evening. Big up yourself, Rob. And the man said, "But I'll tell you the honest to goodness truth. I tell my old lady, I really want this Christmas be nice. I need it to be nice for I need it to be nice for deal with one year that has been like just like no other." So I understand that. But that is the kind of consciousness, the message, the people who are leading, the people who are crafting the communication and messaging to the people and plans. You have to know what you up against at all times. Like me and you know basketball. You could look for a player and know if you play against a player, you know about a player that quick. You have to recognize about a man quicker than me. That man more athletic than me, but he not gonna jump shot. So why am I do that back off, huh? Because if I go up too close to him, he going past me. You have to know where to go against. So it is not to endorse it. It's not to say that, yo, that pure stupidness to make you get caught up in a Christmas. To me, that is which you're the waste of time. Christmas sometimes that almost like a reflex action. We go in our zone, like I would tell people, there's a look in people's eyes. By the time you hit 1 week into December, there's a look in their eyes that they know they are again. Huh?
Correct. I
Like
need it look.
Yeah, that one. You know, it's powerful. And that's a long standing. We don't get into and I don't know if I qualified for going to how that is so. Like Christmas, that's a big thing for people, right? No, someone never even believe in the whole religious thing. They believe in a Christmas. They believe in a Christmas.
They don't even Christian.
They ain't Christian, but they believe in a Christmas. They believe in a turkey and they believe in a hamby. So
Party.
What? So you
get the party.
What? But listen to me, David. So that's what we're up against, because we can't afford to make Christmas season bring one surge on top of one surge. Because where we depend now, we depend top of the election season surge. And we blunder that completely. Bunch of foolishness and we pay a huge price. Now we have Christmas season. If we not learn fast, Christmas season could left way having just you can't imagine what January and February and be like.
If we
You
think
can
2020 bad,
if you think
if we
2020
think
bad,
2020 bad,
if you
like
think
what
2020
Jumanji,
bad,
Jumanji.
Belizean people, brother and sister, hear what happened. Minute try stop on the phone. Do what you do for Christmas. Do nothing. I understand more than any other Christmas before. You're the long for one sense of normalcy, and Christmas they give you that. You hear the Christmas music and you want to feel normal again. You want to feel like something there where you could hold on to, and Christmas that the perfect thing. So I get that. Later on the build up towards it. But the way that we do Christmas got some very dangerous elements in it. And we need to eliminate those which make us run the risk of causing misery and death in a January and February. We have to resist, or we
It's black
have
now, it's
to.
14 years.
So I don't know saying to people stay away from people or stay away from other households. I don't know already that you want to say that, you want to message that, but when you hear Christmas Day come and you don't eat your amount and you don't touch your amount, and then your bedroom or sister say, boy, come over here, boy, we got one, this or that, we got that and this, whatever.
Watch this Laker game with me.
I
The
got
Lakers
one,
will play that game.
I get one battle of so and so for Christmas. one,
Barrel come in.
one battle of so and so. So when you get a battle, you like how I say it, I'm not give nobody no advertisement. One battle of so and so. Boy, I will have to be, if we want to go and police that everybody get, we not got the capacity. We want make the commissioner lose the rest of here. Me too. I want to lose the rest of my here.
I
So
can't talk about here. This is here thing.
we're left. We're left, brother. We're left. So important that one of the things, like we read, we learn. I think that we need to advocate that people wear masks at home as well. Because even if there's two people living in our house, unless then two people they run the same journey, then they don't know what the next one to do. So if you're a husband and wife, listen, you can't sleep with your mask. If your husband get it, you won't get it, and if your wife get it, you won't get it. So we understand that part there. But when you come out to broader families, we don't live together as one. And you got one older daughter or son or something where they out there and got one job, work some way. Guess what? When we up, mass up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
distance, keep the protocols.
because what is happening is that people wear their masks outside. But the minute, especially people will feel, well, I young, I in my prime, the minute they get together and then they start reasoning and get comfortable, then take off the mask. So if we're unable to stop them from mingle, then we have to start to emphasize the fact that where they going? Keep your mask on. In and out, keep your mask on. In our households, keep your mask on. It's to me it's the people will have help come over. You might have somebody come do some painting for you. You might have somebody come do some plumbing for you. You might got somebody come do some woodwork for you. You might got somebody come put down one linoleum for you. You got somebody where come set up your curtain for you. Somebody where you might got some people come do whatever. Mask up. We have to mass up because in a Christmas season, mingling that one of the staples with the mingle, with the mingle, with the mingle, with the mingle, with the mingle in our shops, with the mingle at home, with the mingle, that are part of the whole season. And for those people who have internet and have a computer, then maybe why you could design that some Zoom Christmas Day events. No, you can't give me none of your battle or so and so over Zoom. But you could send it in a one lead battle and
I will learn from your doorstep and roll.
yeah, I left for a monk for you there.
That states with, and it's so ingenious ways those people, they just pull up, left me thing, like just like what Chris Kiddle thing. What I got for you, that for you, I got for me, just bang, bang, bang. Like what big drug deal and roll off.
Like a big what?
Yeah, but not say that again. You know, by the movie, you see the man called the package. I just pull up and left the thing and pick it up. We could do it the same way with the gift and the drink and the booze.
We did laugh, but I serious. We need to plan how to make Christmas safer for everybody. And we can't do that for you. And the police can't police every house. The police can't police every yard.
They shouldn't have to, man. We're the adults.
Well,
they shouldn't.
Brother,
we are unruly, but they should not. We have to be big enough to make response. Unless we are, like you said, we are at Christmas with death. We don't want to leave it at death stroke in a Christmas. Like we don't start death by before New Year's, you know.
We don't want to have death mixed up in our Christmas.
All right.
Nowhere with the try though. That tries to how we could have improving conditions in a January and February. Again, we repeat. We want to hold ourselves accountable. We want to hold the state accountable. We need to get the numbers moving in the right direction because our economy depends on it. And we need to get it moving in the right direction because getting our children back in school depends on it. They are hurting. I can't believe that every research that has been done, we know they do none, but every research that has been done in bigger countries, kids are hurting and are being set back academically disproportionately for those of lower income. So I can't believe that we are immune to that. Even though we have not had any research, I feel like it is safe enough to assume that we are no different and that we need to get back our children, we need to get back our students into the classroom. And we cannot do that if, to me, getting students in the classroom is of the highest priority. No opening free zone, no making sure that Bullet Tree could cross cattle again. The highest priority, one of the highest priority, is to be able to get enough of a control on what this pandemic is doing in our community so that we can safely implement a plan that puts back our students at school. We might can't all put them in a classrooms. Maybe we could try figure out playgrounds, basketball courts, open areas. Maybe we can do random rapid testing the minute a child is not feeling well. We have to figure out how to do this. But getting our students, getting our children back in the classroom is one of the incentives that should be driving our behavior right now. If not only will we die, not only will we lose loved ones, but we will extend this very difficult, this very consequential aspect of the pandemic where our children are not in that controlled environment of being at the school that they go to, that is we are hemorrhaging, in my view, academically. And we need to look at these things and say, is mingling for Christmas more important than that? Is it more important than that? Is mingling for Christmas more important than getting our spaces safe again so that economic opportunities can start to rebound? Is turkey and ham and rum popo and whiskey and black cake more important than that? We really have to wait. It is possible for you to have a good Christmas, a meaningful Christmas, without it being a risky Christmas, without it endangering and really contributing to this worsening pandemic spread in our communities. The power is in our hands. A lot of it is in the state as well, but there is some power in our hands. And ultimately, in my view, we can have one Christmas without the intense mingling. Let us have one Christmas where we mass up. Make we got one Christmas where we have to WhatsApp video Christmas vibes.
Been doing it, man.
Huh?
We've been doing it. You know one thing I don't like what my Christmas was growing up.
Make we take this call, B.
We used to always get
Krem, good morning. WB.
Yes. I'd like to make a comment.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Hello.
Go right ahead.
Yes. With regards to the schools. Yes. With regards to the schools. This is the antagonist, by the way.
I know your voice well, antagonist, but you have to listen to me. You have to listen to me on your phone rather than on.
I am on my phone.
No, but you have to listen to me on the phone rather than hearing my voice on the TV, the radio, or the computer.
Okay. With regard to the school, I cannot agree more that we need our children at school. But I have this uneasy feeling and sentiment. Oh my, there's a crash here on the road. Uneasy feeling that I think the teachers have found like a comfort zone. And I say this because there's a child in high school that I sponsor. I purchased laptops, got internet for these virtual classes. And I sat with him, next to him, one full day of his classes. Now that is at St. John's. And I would say, as you said the other day, that from 1 to 10, I graded it at 2. So I think the teachers have found a little comfort zone in being at home, because if it were the contrary, if their sentiment were the same as the urgency and the need to have our kids in school, we would be hearing, maybe not press conferences, but we would be hearing more of their anxiety and their anxiousness to get our kids in school. I don't feel that from the teachers. I think they're quite comfortable at home. And we could maybe do a little survey. You all have the media. Find out how much teachers really want to go back to the classes, even with safety measures. I hope my sentiment and feeling is heard, but I would like a survey. I would really, really like to listen. I don't feel them out there.
I don't care them beating drums. Get this thing in place so that we could send the children out. I don't hear that. And from what I saw of the kid that I sponsor, he's in third form now. Hopefully graduates next year and goes to fourth next year. I graded his classes. I sat with him from 8 till 3. I graded his classes at a 2. Shame, shame, shame. And this is at STC. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. I believe that we should hear from educators at this time to encourage parents and encourage the community to do better, because they know that while most teachers are going to do their best, they know that this is not ideal. And I believe that I'm very confident in saying that I believe that they ultimately want to be back in that classroom. But where I agree with you is that they need to let that be heard. They need to be more.
Understanding that
They need to be
they're
more.
still going to start classes in January.
They need to be more vocal. No, see, just saying you're going to do something without having certain thresholds in that's to me it's you have to say, listen, if we get decreasing numbers of positive, listen, what I think is not said there, and I can say this to you, antagonists, is that you have teachers who have been infected despite all that we have done. And if we had not figured out a way to say, listen, we are not going to operate the schools, the teachers would have been as decimated as the police officers have been as a profession. They would have been far more teaching casualties. In fact, even though we have done all these things, you have had teachers teachers that have died. A number of them have tested positive. We're no longer reporting on that, but that has happened. Okay? I know personally of that. So the environment is not safe. But we have to understand that these are the consequences of our inability to get serious and really push back against this pandemic. It's not only because some people say, well, I 25 and healthy as an ox. I am in good shape. I won't. I don't fear death. I don't fear corona. I won't get that, and in fact, I will end up getting immune to that. So I will continue to be me. But there are consequences beyond your risk of dying that will happen because you have not stepped up to prevent the transmission and the spreading of the pandemic. And one of the huge consequences right now, besides the economic misery, besides the completely collapsing economy, which, let it be known, is not only because of the pandemic. It was just the what they call it, the straw that broke the camel's back, but the camel back broke.
Long time.
So to even start to look on what we need to do to fix the camel back, the reality is that we have to get our community healthier. We have to push back on the pandemic. So it's not only a matter of, well, I don't think I want dead, or I don't think I want end up on a ventilator. Once it is you that want transmitter, once it is that you the carrot, you don't carrier, then you the help the pandemic win. Once you the help the pandemic win, essentially what you do, that assist in the academic setback are all our young people. That is real. So we have to start to look upon it and say, oh, the either I got one nice Christmas, I don't want to bring no pandemic talk to make I have one miserable Christmas. Think for a moment, pause. Is a perfect Christmas more important than one healthy January or one healthy March? Is it? That's what we have to face with now. It will not be, it can't be the perfect Christmas how would I want it be. But there is a way to ensure that 2021 will be much better than 2020. And if it means that we have to settle for an okay Christmas over we extraordinary mingling and everything we do for Christmas, I believe that is a easy choice to make. I would want to believe that. I would want to know that. We're going to take a break and come back.
Yeah, they go fast.
What that?
I said the time they go fast.
Yeah, it done, you know. Why eat another
So we
banana?
cockroach notice today.
Huh?
I said we have cockroach notice today.
Boy, me kind of nippy.
Well, I was like, going to my room, and the next time I put a AC, I'm like, what the who? No, man. Could have never. I tried to draw from a pillow, I mean, blanket, and this man, I jump up, I drop out, I'm like, what? Me, I never lived that far in, I can't handle snow and cold. I saw my friend drive home last night, and he the baffle through some cold through Colorado. Good for he, boy. He try to make it that Belize, but he the pipe it, but good for him. I hope it's
You know coming to town today?
yeah, I should.
Give me a holler. Try start out the light.
All right then. I should come in and tell me. I'll be about this evening though. But I'll be in the evening.
Yeah, well I know.
You know there in the evening?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What time is it?
I want to give you a call. I want to give you a call and I get a free time to see if I go up the Hattieville.
Yeah, I'll wait for I hold my breath this time. Yeah, put on a good day, make we show the farmer what we're doing, what we do. I try to work on a greenhouse, but that greenhouse by the man that promised me the greenhouse, I don't know. It take long to reach. I don't think they hold me back right now. But hopefully we're supposed to get some help and put some stuff here in the ground with or without greenhouse. They soil everything, they keep it back, man. I still don't get the soil. Every time I talk about soil, it rain. But I don't make no noise. Kind of time I guys have to end up in a pan. I got fish, man. My fisherman, look at it right now, they Kubali and anything, they come in hand over fish.
Real fish.
I'll fish that real fish, man. What you try to say? What you try to say, man?
Real fish.
We're not talking about the next fish right now. We're not going down that street. Yeah, but yeah, Kubali, some Kubali. I got leave, man. I notice, man, got Kubali like $18 a pound, man, fella. Can't handle that. I got $8 a pound connect. That I got fish, you think that one type of fish, we keep variety of fish, man. Real fish, no. All fish are real fish, man. If you got skill and you swim, now real fish.
You make I remember one time, boy. When we bring in when we do a promotion and had in some Jamaicans, right? Jamaican artists, and we come in with the entourage. So that mean the Saturday, and we made head down the Michael Ashcroft Stadium to go watch football. So we stop in at Pomona there. And when Jamaican and looking at the drain there, na Pomona, and the man holla for you West Belgian. Say boy, the man here got all fish in them drain, you know. So one of the bedroom there, Pomona Valley, they look upon the man and bust out a laugh. Say what you talk about, brother? There no fish, another poopsie. Boy, Jamaican get rotted. Man say, country fool. Is it? Is it? Inaga Gill?
I will use that internet cost my fish. Internet I cut my fish and it cut nice and sexy to you and you are
Yeah.
saying.
Country fool. You chat.
Yeah, it not
Inaga
again.
Gill?
Alright. You know me even know a Jamaican and got shot a fish. Since a Jamaican me come from Jamaica and still a Monk River.
What's
And
that?
they make you know that they got a real shortage of fish. They got a fish problem.
Yeah,
Where
for them reef man up in a really bad state. Their reef essentially a lot of it had died. Some of it is coming back. Um um I forgot the name of the area where they have been able to do a lot of good work in restoring a part of the reef. And one of the things where one of the ways they have done it is to get sea urchins back, where we call sea egg. We don't like sea egg because they got a porcupines and they stick you. But sea egg or sea urchins that are a major part of reef health. And one lot of the demise in the coral reef in the Caribbean and in this area caused when you had one disease where it come through the Panama Canal and wipe out one lot of sea urchins. Like when I used to go to sea as a little boy, I remember I used to have a lot of sea egg all about the place. The big black one there. And you look wrong right now, it's hard to find a lot of sea urchins. That's a bad sign because sea urchins do that. Then they in fact eat more algae for the reef than parrotfish by far. So then are like then are the reef cleaners, and it's interesting, like how these ecosystems are set up and yeah, but
fragile to me and
yeah, yeah,
dependent on
yeah,
each other.
yeah, yeah.
Symbiosis.
You could really
Now if you
overlook
go
and
there,
you could like I remember like one of the first things we used to do when you got a kid and say, "Why you have to go clear all it? You have to go clear all the sea egg there." Because
yes.
obviously the water not good for you go swim there and you stand up and sea egg every minute. So
Okay,
you
that edible to people eat
say
it. They inside
yeah,
a
yeah,
meat
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
In the green ones. They eat them in a delicacy in a Barbados. Big up Dominique. Try some of the sea egg in a Barbados. But
I know you have heard of me this morning. You always I'm not going on this study. Work on that here today.
yeah, I'm a scientist out of Barbados. Me look for me and say, "Uno spile a Belize."
That's true.
So
That's
yeah,
true.
uno spile. Uno no eat this. Uno no eat that. So when me go there, me
And
no
never forget
understand.
one time.
Say me no
We do have
understand. Uno water
we blessed man.
full up a sea egg. And uno no eat that. Me say
We don't even eat the sea
sea egg
cucumber.
down delicacy, the green one. No eat it.
I had a friend one time at Kirk tubing from Salvador. And when he got in there, instead of a shell, list, man, shell, he called it cuetes.
Dominique
He
is
said,
here.
what?
Dominique is yeah. Dominique, you have to go try some sea egg. I don't know what they call it, but
The green one. Don't try, make sure the green one.
he
But he
said
said, no,
she
you
not.
don't see
He
it. It's
said
not
she
like
not
you
eat
say, a
no sea
lot
egg.
of things for you know, a lot of people say, I know, I do this, and I know, I do that. That's when they have it still. They're too young for that. I know. But I did look at it and try to see it. Well, I'll try anything once. Almost anything once.
Yeah. Where are the thing you've eaten?
Me? Weirdest thing.
You eat
I don't think
crocodile.
I have ever.
You eat crocodile already?
No. Uh-uh. I mean, can't not eat that yet.
All right, we
I
gotta go
ate
back.
termite.
We gotta go back.
Was it termite?
Okay, that they say that you get lost in the jungle that the way you have to try eat, right?
I eat that every time. Every time I go past two, I eat termites.
All right, we gotta go back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Moonside David Almendares is with you on this Tuesday morning, the 8th of December. It is a date of significance. Um, today the Guatemalans are to take their legal argument to the ICJ. They're supposed to have a written presentation. This is the deadline. So we would have to assume, because we have not heard that they have asked for any.
I've seen, I've seen a thing that says the article states that the deadline is December 10th for the Guatemalans to submit their claim. A 3-month extension was granted to them due to the COVID pandemic.
No, they have
And this
gotten
is
an
based on, yeah, this is
this.
based on a post that Sister Yaya forwarded to me.
I don't get that.
Can you see him there by your phone? He said,
Yeah,
I've been trying to to Moses, he there by your phone.
I don't get it. That would have been a second
Yeah. I can't,
postponement
this is a current to Sister Yaya. She sent me an article, I can't open it up, but the gist
article
of the
from
article said,
where? Like I just
she
say
sent me
again
a touch of Guatemala submit final claim against Believe Love FM. According to Love FM.
that is what has happened. They've asked for another,
Yeah.
and that has been granted to them.
And I don't know, I didn't tell her, I just the messenger, no.
But
I could read it like, huh?
it's on the 8th.
He said,
It's not the 10th though. It's on the 8th. I don't know why they would be saying it's on the 10th. It's definitely on the 8th. But it has been granted to them. You're saying where has that information been shared? Huh? What's that?
Due to the COVID,
But that was done. But that was done earlier this year.
Yeah. So that's what Sister Yaya just forward to me. Well, maybe that the one she sent for
Yeah. I'm not hearing you. Not hearing you, Sister Yaya. Yeah, I don't understand. That would be that would be very troubling to me, that they would be granted another yes, Sister Yaya.
Morning, I hope this phone now make it look bad out the road again. You know, until that piece of phone, you know, the priest say what make the call the phone and make it look bad, and bam, the phone make it look bad out the road.
How you make you look bad?
I pop down for me when I talk to you this morning.
Why? Well, I think that me look bad because they had to talk to you, thinking that you're on, and then
I feel bad. I try to get you back, but then anyway, I try to go live feel out the road. But the conversation on the heights this morning, and I really appreciate that you open it. I'm going to expand the conversation about the power of what we have for purchase. And it's good that David, as an entrepreneur, you know, had that. I mean, never know anything with David here, so I really appreciate learning about the conversation. But Love FM, my post one story was sort of that December 10th, that is the deadline, and that then they get one extension due to COVID-19. So I couldn't hear everything where Sister Sandra said at the time, and I believe here Friday and Mandela, I think they may publish something as well about it. So yeah, the date had extended to the 10th.
to the 10th of December.
Yeah, to the 10th of December. I sent it to you too, but yeah.
No, okay, hold up. So it's not that the date was the 10th and it has been extended further. It's just been extended from the 8th to the 10th.
Well, there's an article in the Amanda Lewis said deadline near December 8th for Guatemala to file case at ICJ. But another article where Love FM post, it said December 10th. So I don't know.
Yeah, you mix me up.
All right. My intention is not for mix you.
I know that. Already
Right.
asked.
Let me just read the thing so that it says 7 days remain. This article was published December 2nd. 7 days remain for Guatemala to submit its final claim against Belize to the International Court of Justice, ICJ. December 10 is the deadline for the submission after the court had granted a 3-month extension due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Boom. The article name, last days for Guatemala to submit its final claim against Belize.
Okay, well, that is not saying that it has been there's any new extension. It's the same extension that has determined that today is the day. Obviously, they believe it's the 10th. I believe today is the day, but there has been no request for an extension, a subsequent request for extension. This is that's what is supposed to happen. Yes, sister. Yeah.
Yeah, me pop down phone again. Right. My point was simply that if it's saying it is December 10th, then it's not today. That's the date. Unless I'm misunderstanding something.
Yeah. To my
I see the official letter from the Hague, and I have it right here. An official letter from the Hague says December 8th. I have a Hague letter with
yeah.
thanks to Dominique.
It's the 8th.
It's the 8th.
It's
Okay,
the
so
8th.
that means that his article was wrong.
It was wrong. Yeah.
Okay, and so see these things are important too, and that's why it's good to have this public conversation because I hear when Sister Sandra calling, you know, if she wants she could make mistake, but not likely. I'm like, but this article so it tells you which one it is. So it's good that we clarify that it is on the
Mr. Sandra is correct.
respect to Sister Sandra every time. Thanks for the reasoning.
All right.
I have an official Hague letter with the Hague letter head, and I just read it and say the 8th.
Well,
so that,
we should not be here guessing as
we
should not here be guessing. I would think that we would get some confirmation
this
of.
was printed on the 24th of April 2020.
Yeah, you can't get no more extension pan that. You don't have I think almost 1 year, and then you get almost another year if come forward. So that wouldn't be very troubling. That wouldn't be very like that would have just say, oh, that would kind of create. Well, first of all, I don't think the whole thing now a bunch of craziness. But the point is that we are there now. I don't know how you could grant more extension. I don't know how you could get away with using COVID as a reason why when COVID come really in at the early part of this year, you want to tell me that you never made follow this up until when COVID come. But anyway, the court accepted their argument, accepted their point, and so we got okay. Hold on.
So, you know, for we leading journalist Marcella Maya confirmed that the date is the 8th. I don't know where Lover can get a date of the 10th from. It is the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to come back and I just sent a message from Marcella confirm that it's definitely the 8th. It's in the legal document and show that it is the 8th. But I got the 10th from Love FM article from December 2nd, 2020.
All right.
That was my source.
All right. All right. And maybe Marisol, if you're hearing me, is there any indication as to whether or not there will be any access to that claim or to that written position of the Guatemalans to the court, or does that remain sealed, or only our legal team and negotiators are going to see that? Like, is that what is going to happen? Do we get any sense? Do we get any confirmation at all? When do we get a confirmation that it has actually been presented to the court? There's any way to just hit me with that, Marisol, before we are out of time, which we are in fact almost out of time. Huh? Anyway, what we have to do that, take a final break and come back and wrap up.
Yeah, like both against the sun today.
Yeah.
But if I come in at town and call you, I'm not meet you this evening because I'm going to the farm. I have to go.
Which farm?
Reconnaissance. The restaurant, the farm, same spot. It's not a restaurant / farm /
a restaurant. I know a restaurant again because I passed it several times and he never opened.
I wait till this COVID thing blow over. Because it's slow. Generally, it's slow. And then for the day, all day, done slow. I get on the break. Because the economy, actually, I don't mean one, everybody. A lot of other businesses, they see it. It's on there. It costs you more for open than for close. You have to wait because I tell you, like we say, a lot of people they cook their own food. You know, one thing when pandemic teach people to do, I use them pot and pan again. Yeah, they learn that fast. And I don't blame them to men. I mean, if you average it out, average plate of food for a medium to a budget thing that you talk $10, $7 to $10. At times that by 3 or 4 in your household, that's some serious money. I
Yeah.
mean, for we poor people, I mean, I grew up with a single mother, so I know what it is to go check my purse. I know what every morning they got line off in the order because they don't play their money. They know the last couple of it. I feel that. But I also want to encourage you both, okay, try buy local. I know me and Mr. Smiling, all right, so I mentioned the name, but yeah, I could do any Smiling, any Makize, any Southside, any Gillette, any Rosados, any Ricardos, you know, okay, make we buy any local ham. Now, one thing I never used to do, you know, when I go to the States, I never bring ham from States. I say, man, go there and dead up for them cheap ham. I think one thing I never did like, I always find that my ham that least sexy for them ham. Least
You
salty and
you
least
you
tougher,
um
but
you you um you assess the sexiness of the ham.
yeah, everything I'm
You
sexy, man.
for you ham got sexy points where you give.
Yeah, all food in general, to got sexy points. You can't got food just lay down and tongue, they hang up on the table, no? And the food have a sexy dog when you see your mouth dribble up over it, you want it, you need it.
I think I left that loan be.
Watch out. And then me set the trend, you know. I hear a man they call food sexy now. They never used to call, well, not me set the trend, but I learned it from outside sources, but yeah, food for sexy, food for nice, food for, you know,
I really
experience.
hope that Sister India they listen to you though.
Sister India, forgive me for talking about the swine.
Big up Sister
I grew up
India.
seven.
Sister
And
India me
all
say
my
you
seven
call
day
it.
Adventist
Sister India me
brothers.
say you want call in yesterday, but you know call.
Yeah, yeah, I don't hear funny well. But
Anybody
yeah,
me say
man.
that he may try reach you or something never reach out to
No,
you?
you link with me. You don't link with me.
All
We
right,
link.
all right.
Yeah. But yeah, but I grew up 7 day Adventist, so we don't grow up the thing there. When I taste on the first time, the part of me there all my life. What I see lobster the bubbling in a pot, I don't know where him. And when I taste him again, the part him in it.
Yeah, where you've
So
been?
I only do it for Christmas. I do the camp only Christmas. I go off. But we do the diet thing too. We try to cut out the rice, cut out the flour. We try to do that. We try to stick to that even through the Christmas. Doesn't see how that going. I try to keep that cross country ship when the rock the bicycle race again. I don't know when that happened, but I say they administered the first vaccine shot Pfizer this morning. The England first publicly administered Pfizer vaccine got out this morning, and the whole lady for England get it. So they beat America to the punch. I know America said maybe by next week Thursday they will kick off for their one. I hope it works, man. I hope it works.
Well, you know, I want to take the vaccine, but
You don't think it?
make we be honest. There's a reason why vaccines tend to take longer in a research, because you could tell me that the vaccine have efficacy, right? 90% efficacy, whatever. Nobody could tell you, because they've just not had enough time to tell you if after 6 months it has the same efficacy. There's only one way to know efficacy as it relates to time, is to actually have the time. Do you understand? So it's, to me, it's yes. Then you wash the brush. This is washing the brush, and they
I
can't
don't
tell
take none.
and they can't tell me no.
I
They
wait for
can't
some guinea pig take it and make sure they're not dead.
they
And
can't
I
tell
still
me
not
no.
take none.
There's a reason why you have to take 2 years, because you have to give you have to make we see how he stand
Big
after
time.
2 years. You have to make we see how he stand after 1 year at least.
I don't know. I
So
don't know, but we
so
can't
so
wait.
all I could tell you right now is that when you just get a shot,
We don't
it
know.
has efficacy. It builds up some immunity. They can't tell you how long it lasts, because we have not taken the time to figure that out.
A new kind of
So you could
vaccine
hear,
or a
so
new way.
you could hear them all the time. All the time you could hear them talking about the vaccine has efficacy, if it has 90%, 95%, boom, 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 boom. They can't tell you that it had 95% efficacy after a year, because we have not had a year.
Somebody
We have
say
not
eat
had
parrot
we've
fish Barbados.
all kind of thing give
Somebody could
government.
eat the parrot fish though, you just watch it the market.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Most High David Almendaris. It's been a pleasure to have been here with you this morning. And we, of course, recognize and acknowledge the support of our team here, doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. At Creme Radio Engineer Anthony Tony G. Grant, the Reggae Kingpin. At Creme Television, it's Mr. Jada Anderson. I believe Mr. Cliff Lewis is there. Remember to tune in tonight for Creme Christmas on Creme Radio and on Creme Television. It's a whole heap of fun and bashment, and it's the vibe. But it's being done in a direct consciousness that this thing called SARS-CoV-2 or COVID
Notice you never
19.
invite me for sing no song though.
Actually,
You
you
don't
know
rate
what?
my
I believe.
singing.
Huh?
You
What's
don't
that?
invite me for sing no song, you don't rate my singing.
Anyway, we we gotta say respect to a crew, and then we have to say that we have to win this struggle. We have to win this
Yes.
fight, and we'll do our best for do that. And the only way we can do that, that if you do your part, and each person do their part. Christmas nice, but you know that important that it make we continue dead in January and February and March. You know that nice. We could do it less perfect but more safe. Still and good. Once you believe that are your vibes and that are something to you, you still ain't got the vibes. You just can't be in the same amount of mingling. It can't be the same kind of risky way. COVID is real. Um, with health and strength, we'll be back tomorrow morning. We've been told by Michelle that she's going to join us tomorrow morning, so we're looking forward to that. We've not had Michelle on with us. It's been a bullfest all week, and I've just about gotten enough of that. So it's good that we're going to have Michelle back with us tomorrow. Belizeans, as always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
God! Respect.
Yeah, bro.